Welcome back to Spectrum of Wisdom, the channel where we illuminate the fascinating world around us. Today, we're turning our lens towards a creature that's as charming as it is beneficial, the humble ladybug. Adorned in vibrant hues of red and black, these tiny beetles are a common sight in gardens around the world. But there's more to the ladybug than meets the eye. From their unique life cycle to their crucial role in maintaining the balance of our ecosystem, ladybugs are a testament to the wonders of nature packed into a tiny, polka-dotted package. Join us as we delve into the world of ladybugs, exploring everything from their biology to their cultural significance. So, sit back, relax, and let's embark on this journey together. The Coccinellidae family, affectionately known as ladybugs in North America and ladybirds in the United Kingdom, is a diverse group of small beetles found across the globe. The name, Lady, is a nod to the Virgin Mary, adding a touch of reverence to these tiny creatures. To avoid confusion with true bugs, entomologists prefer the terms ladybird beetles or lady beetles. These beetles, numbering over 6,000 species, are found in a variety of habitats worldwide. They are recognized by their oval shape, domed back, and flat underside. Their vibrant colors and patterns, such as red with black spots, serve as a warning to predators about their unpleasant taste. Mostly carnivorous, these beetles are known to feast on insects like aphids and scale insects. However, they also have a taste for non-animal matter, including plants and fungi. They breed during spring and summer in temperate regions and during the wet season in tropical regions, often laying their eggs near prey colonies to provide their larvae with a ready food source. As they prey on agricultural pests, most coccinellids are seen as beneficial insects. Some species have even been introduced to new regions as biological control agents. However, a few species can become pests themselves, infesting homes, particularly in winter. Invasive species like Harmonia axyridis can pose a threat to native ones. Other threats to coccinellids include climate change and habitat destruction. Despite these challenges, these insects have found a place in folklore, religion, and poetry, and are particularly popular in nursery rhymes. Their humble size belies their significant impact on our ecosystems and cultures. The name Coccinellidae, coined by Pierre-André Latreille in 1807, is derived from the Latin word coccineus, which means scarlet. The common English name, ladybird, has its roots in Britain, where these insects were affectionately referred to as Our Lady's birds. This term is a tribute to Mary, often referred to as Our Lady, who was frequently portrayed in early art wearing a red cloak. The 7 spots of the species Coccinella septempunctata, the most common in Europe, were believed to symbolize her 7 joys and 7 sorrows. In the United States, the name evolved into ladybug. To avoid confusion with true bugs, entomologists prefer the terms ladybird beetles or lady beetles. Similar names can be found in other countries as well. For instance, in Germany, they are known as Marienkäfer, which translates to Mary beetle or lady beetle. Coccinellids, also known as ladybugs, are fascinating creatures. Their size varies from a tiny 0.8 mm to a noticeable 18 mm, with females generally being larger than males. They have an oval shape with domed backs and flattened undersides, large compound eyes, and clubbed antennae with 7 to 11 segments. Their mandibles, equivalent to jaws, are powerful and typically have pairs of teeth that face each other. The prothorax, the front part of the thorax, is broad and convex, and can even cover the back of the head. As beetles, they have hardened forewings, known as elytrons, which protect the more fragile hindwings when the insects are not in flight. Their legs are relatively short, with a tarsal formula of 4-4-4 or 3-3-3. The tarsus, the end of the leg, has 2 claws at the tip. Coccinellids are often distinctively colored and patterned. The elytron may be light with dark spots or dark with light spots. Light areas are typically yellow, red, orange or brown, and the spots vary in size and shape and numbers. Some species have striped or checkered patterns. The pigment carotene creates the lighter colors, and melanins create darker colors. Other parts of the body also vary in coloration. These color patterns typically serve as warning coloration, but some can act as camouflage, attract mates, or even regulate heat. Several individual species may display polymorphism and even change color between seasons. Coccinellid larvae are elongated with square heads. They are covered in hairs or setae, the abdominal segments, in particular, each having 6 divided into pairs, and 1 to 3 segmented antennae. Their coloration varies from grey, blue-grey, grey-brown or brown and spotted with white, yellow, red or orange. They tend to brighten as they get closer to adulthood. There are over 6,000 living species of Coccinellidae that have been described. They are sparsely preserved in the fossil record. Although molecular clock estimates have placed their origin in the Cretaceous, the oldest fossils of the group are known from the Oise amber of France, dating to the early Eocene, Epresian, around 53 million years ago, which belonged to the extant genera Rhizobius and Nephis. The greatest number of fossils comes from the younger Eocene Baltic amber, including members of the extant genera Sorangium and Rhizobius as well as extinct genera belonging to the tribes Microrhizini, Baltocidis, and Sticolotidini, Electrolotis. Coccinellids, or ladybugs, are mostly active during the day. Their hind wings, which are stiff during flight, have springy, cylindrical veins that bend when folding. This folding is further aided by creases in the membrane. These beetles may migrate long distances to hibernation and breeding sites, and areas with more food. They appear to be drawn to recognizable landmarks. The more crowded an area is, the more individuals leave, but will remain if there are enough prey species to feed on. Trivial flights refer to flying while foraging or when finding a place to lay eggs. One study of species in Britain found that coccinellids can fly as far as 120 kilometers. They flew at speeds of 30 kilometers per hour and could reach altitudes close to 1,100 m. In temperate climates, coccinellids, also known as ladybugs, typically breed from late spring to early summer. In warmer temperate regions, reproduction may occur in spring, fall and winter. Tropical species reproduce during the wet season. Mating is promiscuous. In some species, females appear to be selective in their partners, preferring males of a certain size and color. Males produce sperm packets each with 14,000 sperm, and insert 3 of them into the female, even though she can only hold 18,000 sperm. This is likely a form of sperm competition. Like other insects, coccinellids develop from egg, to larva, to pupa, and finally adult. Eggs tend to be bright yellow, and the females lay them close together, standing upright and near where they can access food. The number of eggs in a cluster can vary depending on the species. It is typically in the double digits, but some species can lay over 1,000 eggs in their lifetime. After hatching, the larvae will begin eating, including the other eggs in their clutch. Certain species lay extra infertile trophic eggs with the fertile eggs, providing a backup food source for the larvae when they hatch. The ratio of infertile to fertile eggs increases with scarcity of food at the time of egg laying. Larvae typically have 4 instar stages with 3 molts between them. The larva eventually transitions into a pupa, which involves the development of a hunch, the fusion of the legs to the body, and the attachment of the posterior to the surface. Pupae may be uncovered, partially covered, or fully covered by larval skin depending on the species. The pupa is mostly immobile, but the head can move in response to irritation. When the adult emerges, it has its hind wings, while the elytron starts out softer and lighter in color, with no patterns. The length of each development stage varies based on climate and between species. For Ardalia bipunctata, eggs hatch after 4 to 8 days, the larva stage lasts around 3 weeks and the pupa lasts 7 to 10 days. Adult coccinellids develop much of their final coloration within hours, but may not fully darken for weeks or months. The lifespan of an adult reaches up to a year. In temperate areas, coccinellids may hibernate or enter diapause during the winter. Individuals during this period gather in clumps, large or small depending on the species. Overwintering insects can be found both in lowland areas, aggregating under dead vegetation, and at the tops of hills, hibernating under rocks and on grass tussocks. In areas with particularly hot summers, the insects experience summer dormancy or estivation. In the tropics, coccinellids enter dormancy during the dry season. Coccinellids, also known as ladybugs, play various roles in food webs, acting as predators, prey, and parasitic hosts. The majority of coccinellids are carnivorous and predatory, typically preying on Sternerincha insects like aphids, scale insects, whiteflies, psyllids, and adelgids. Some species feed on the larvae of moths and other beetles, as well as mites. Since much of their prey are agricultural pests, coccinellids are considered to be beneficial insects. Ladybird species vary in dietary specificity. An example of a specialist species is those of the genus Stethurus, which feed on spider mites. Aphid eaters tend to be generalist. They have a high voracity and can multiply quickly in response to outbreaks and switch to other prey when the ephemeral aphids become scarce. Predators of scale insects tend to be less voracious and are slower breeders and developers, matching their prey. Under pressure from coccinellid predation, aphid species have evolved to become more toxic, forcing coccinellids to develop immunities. Cannibalism has been recorded in several species, which includes larvae eating eggs or other larvae, and adults feeding on individuals of any life stage. Some coccinellids are mostly non-predatory, such as some species in the genera Epilachna and Henosepilachna. The majority of predatory species may also supplement their diet with other sources of food both in their larval and adult stages. Non-animal matter consumed include leaves, pollen, nectar, sap, fungi, and honeydew. Members of the tribe Helizini of the subfamily Coccinellinae are obligate fungus feeders. Coccinellids of any life stage are preyed on by predators such as birds, spiders, ants, and lacewings. They are also hosts for parasites, including some flies, ticks, mites, hymenopterans and nematodes, and pathogens, including bacteria, fungi and protozoa. Wolbachia bacteria infects eggs and kills male zygotes. The promiscuity of coccinellids has led to their being affected by sexually transmitted diseases. The bright warning coloration of many coccinellids, or ladybugs, discourages potential predators, warning of their toxicity. A 2015 study of 5 ladybird species found that their coloration honestly signaled their toxicity, implying the warning is genuine. Species with more contrast with the background environment tended to be more toxic. Coccinellid hemolymph, or blood, contains toxic alkaloids, azomacrolides, and polyamines, as well as foul-smelling pyrazines. Coccinellids can produce at least 50 types of alkaloids. When disturbed, ladybirds further defend themselves with reflex bleeding, exuding drops from their tibiofemoral, or knee, joints, effectively presenting predators with a sample of their toxic and bitter body fluid. Predator-deterring poisons are particularly important for the immobile pupa. Access to food can affect the concentration of both pigments and toxins. The similarity of coccinellid patterning in red and orange with black markings has led to suggestions that they and some species of chrysomelids form Müllerian mimicry rings particularly to defend them from birds. Despite their chemical defenses, coccinellids are preyed on by some clarid beetles in the genus Enoclerus, several species of which are brightly colored in red and black, and which possibly sequester the toxins of the prey to defend themselves against other predators. As an anti-predator defense, spiders of the genus Eresus, known as ladybird spiders, have evolved to replicate the patterns of coccinellids. This is a form of Batesian mimicry, as the spiders lack the chemicals. This resemblance is limited to adult male spiders which are actively searching for females and exposed, unlike the females and young, which remain sheltered in burrows. Coccinellidae, the enchanting creatures we often call ladybugs, grace every corner of our world, save for the icy expanses of Antarctica. While we have much to learn about our Asian and African counterparts, we know that these tiny marvels have adapted to a myriad of habitats, from the forest floor to the treetops, and even in the harshest of environments like towering mountains, arid deserts, and frigid zones. Some species have spread their wings far and wide, while others remain nestled in their unique locales, their existence potentially under threat. The challenges they face are manifold: climate change, agriculture, urbanization, and invasive species. As our world warms, these delicate beings may find themselves smaller in size, their energy and metabolic needs heightened, and facing increased predation. Agriculture and urbanization pose threats through habitat destruction and pesticide use, while invasive species, particularly C. septempunctata in North America and H. axyridis globally, compete for resources and even prey on their eggs. As of 2022, the IUCN Red List has yet to assess the conservation status of any coccinellid, but there is a dedicated IUCN SSC ladybird specialist group. To safeguard these insects, conservationists propose a multi-pronged approach: citizen science and education programs, habitat preservation and restoration, prevention of invasive species spread, and a global monitoring program. In this way, we can ensure that the humble and fascinating coccinellidae continue to be a part of our world's rich tapestry of life. Coccinellids, or ladybugs, have long been allies in our agricultural endeavors, acting as natural predators to pests such as aphids and scale insects. Their role in biological pest control was recognized as early as 1814 in England, and while their effectiveness can fluctuate, there have been instances where they've caused significant seasonal declines in aphid populations. The Vidalia beetle, Novius cardinalis, was the first of these species to be introduced outside its native range. Brought from Australia to California in 1887, it was used to protect citrus trees from the cottony cushion scale. The project was a resounding success, costing a mere $1,500 in 1889, and has since been hailed as a prime example of the potential of classical biological control for suppressing invasive pests. The beetle's success story has been replicated in 29 countries, thanks to its high prey specificity, rapid development, multiple generations per year, efficient discovery of host patches, and the completion of larval development on a single host insect. While there have been numerous attempts to use ladybird species against pests, the results have varied. Coccinellids that prey on scale insects have generally been more successful than those that target aphids. Out of 155 deliberate introductions aimed at controlling aphids by the year 2000, only one was deemed to be substantially successful. This is likely due to the fact that aphid-eating species breed quickly, are generalists, and have a voracious appetite, making them difficult to control. While coccinellids, or ladybugs, are often seen as beneficial creatures, they can also pose challenges. The species Harmonia axyridis, native to East Asia but now found in the Americas, Europe, and Africa, is one such example. In North America, these ladybugs seek shelter in buildings during the winter, often swarming structures that are warmed by the afternoon sunday. This can become a nuisance for homeowners. In the UK, an unusually hot and dry summer in 1976 led to an explosion in the aphid population, which was followed by a surge in the native Coccinella septempunctata population. As the aphid supply dwindled, there were numerous reports of people being bitten by these ladybugs. Certain species of ladybugs can also impact the wine industry. H. axyridis, C. septempunctata, and Hippodamia convergens are known to cause ladybird taint in wine. Even a small number of these insects, as few as 1.3 to 1.5 per kilogram of grapes, can affect the quality of wine if they are present during the winemaking process. The Mexican bean beetle, another member of the coccinellid family, is considered an agricultural pest. Unlike its relatives, which primarily feed on other insects, this beetle prefers to dine on plants, particularly legumes, posing a threat to these crops. Coccinellids, affectionately known as ladybirds, hold a special place in our hearts and cultures, symbolizing luck, love, fertility, and prophecy. In European folklore, these charming creatures are seen as matchmakers, crawling on a woman before flying off to find her true love. They are also believed to predict the future, particularly weather conditions and crop growth. In the realm of Christianity, coccinellids are revered as the literal gatekeepers of heaven. The Swedish name for these insects, Himmelska nycklar, translates to keys of heaven. In Jewish culture, they are referred to as the cow of Moses, our teacher. The Cherokee hold them in high esteem as the Great Beloved Woman, a title used for the highest-ranking woman in the government who would be adorned in the colors and patterns of the insect during ceremonies. These cultural associations highlight the deep respect and fascination we have for these humble yet captivating creatures. That's a wrap on our deep dive into the world of ladybugs. We hope you enjoyed this journey as much as we did, exploring the fascinating life of these tiny creatures. From their vibrant colors to their crucial role in our ecosystem, ladybugs truly are a spectrum of wisdom in their own right. If you enjoyed this video and found it informative, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Remember, every like, share, and comment helps us bring more such enlightening content your way. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon to stay updated with Spectrum of Wisdom. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and remember, wisdom is all around us. This is Spectrum of Wisdom, signing off. Stay wise and stay curious.